Hello, hello, everyone. That's right. It's art night. I want to welcome everybody to the Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton. It is so nice to see everybody here tonight, and welcome to this fantastic Saturday night. You guys are going to be so happy because it's art night. We have a fantastic guest joining us this evening. So let's say hello to all of our viewers tonight. Hello to everybody over there on Rumble. We see many of you already over there. Nice to see you guys. And welcome, welcome. Hello to all of our Build viewers as well. Nice memes going on over there. Hello to all of our X viewers. Thank you so much. And hello to all of our YouTube viewers. So exciting to have everybody. Make sure you guys do me a favor and hit those buttons, right? Those likes, those follows, share it out, because don't we want the whole world to see what my guests are doing, creating, and the talents that they have? I appreciate that so much. And then please help support the show with your rants, your subscriptions, your pills, your tips, your cash apps, and more. And I'll thank you guys so much already for that. All right, like I said, you guys, it is art night, and we are welcoming back a great artist, everyone. She is known as They Call Me Pencils, but her name is Sinor, and it's so exciting to have her back. She's got an extraordinary talent and breathtaking work. A professional colored pencil artist and a content creator over there on X, Cindy is known for her stunning realistic portraits of people, pets, and nature, each piece rich with emotion, depth, and meticulous detail. From traditional pencil drawings on paper to her unique portraits created on natural beach stones, her art celebrates timeless beauty and hand-drawn creation. So everybody do me a favor and please welcome to the stage my great friend, Cindy Sinor. Hello, hello.
Hi. It's great to see you again. It's great to be back.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're here, and I just love your work. You know how much I do. I am really happy, as you know, we got some viewers that may have never seen you before or know your work. So it's so exciting when you guys come back, because every week it seems like we're picking up new viewers, and I am so thrilled that they get to see your amazing work. You guys, you can also follow her, and we'll show you there too. You can follow her on X, and we will share that out. But Cindy, just kind of tell everyone a little bit more about you, please.
Well, I've been basically an artist my whole life, although I would say professionally, about 10 years ago, I started, really taking my art seriously. I had a prior career and raised my kids. I was a stay-at-home mom for quite a few years. And, about 10 years ago, I really kind of wanted to focus back on my art. I had put it basically on the back burner for quite a while. And I took a colored pencil class for adult continuing ed students, and it sort of opened the floodgates for me. I think colored pencils has probably always been my most favorite medium. When I was younger, I tried a lot of different ones, but I still have my colored pencils from high school. Like, I always kind of came back to those. So I really put my focus into, wanting to become an expert basically in that medium. So 10 years ago, my journey sort of started officially, and it's kind of taken on different forms over the last few years. Initially, like I said, I took that class, but then that led me into teaching. So I taught some colored pencil classes and basic drawing classes to adult continuing ed students. And at the same time, the first artwork I started creating and selling were pet portraits. That's what really got me started. And it was basically word of mouth in my local community. I wasn't really involved with social media too much at that time. But then as time went on, I did get, onto Facebook and Instagram, and more recently on X. And that really kind of started getting me out there quite a bit more. I started my own website, and, it takes time to obviously build a following, but doing it online for me has been, the best way. I've exhibited in a few shows, but mostly I promote my art and, put it out there online. So, I did a lot of the pet portraits. That kind of led to other work as people started seeing me on social media, and would reach out to me and ask me to do commissions and that type of thing. And then I sort of got into a different thing altogether for a couple years, which was drawing on beach stones, which you had mentioned. I sort of just wanted to expand, I guess, colored pencils. I didn't really want to switch to a new medium, but I guess as an artist, you're always creative and looking for new things to try. And
Right.
so I started doing little portraits, a lot of classic rock musicians and
Mm-hmm.
other art, like famous artists. I did those. And I did also pet portraits. So that kind of got me started on Etsy. I opened an Etsy shop and primarily just sold my rocks on Etsy. And I did that mostly for a couple of years. But then, of course, you start getting antsy to do something else. So I got back into my drawing on paper and simultaneously got much more involved on X. And about a year ago, I became a content creator on X. So that's grown, which I'm grateful for. I've met a lot of nice people. I've met, customers who've purchased my art, that they've seen it on X. And more recently, I started a community on X called I Am an Artist, which, I know that's a big thing for you too, to promote other artists. And I just think it's really important, especially today with, all the AI stuff out there. It's important to me to just keep promoting traditional art. I think there's still a huge demand for it. People still love it. And they always seem to be very excited to see it. We get so much in our social media feed that's not particularly like appealing, a lot of news, controversy, all that kind of thing. So I think it's nice to see art occasionally, I would imagine, for some people. So anyway, I started that community and I try to highlight other artists and encourage them to join and, put their work out there as well. So that kind of brings me to where
Right. And I know that too. I'm right there with you. We've discussed this before about, every single day I'm highlighting an artist, artist of the week, and doing this and transferred over from one media to the other. And I might branch out to some other social medias, but X is really interesting. And, I found that, sometimes like I do some controversial, like statement pieces that, aren't meant for personal owner. I mean, if they wanted to buy them, but they're usually for a huge conference or an event or whatever. So I just did one recently and it changed my whole algorithm overnight. And I was like, I had to start bookmarking all kinds of really pretty things again and music and whatever, and change my algorithm back again because it can. But I do like X's, and also if you have Facebook, because you can go and find like cooking and artwork and whatever, and fill your feed with that kind of stuff versus all the other crazy. So I'm so happy that you have this on X, because we need to bring it. It's a beautiful international stage and we need way more artists on there showing off their work. So I commend you for what you're doing. I love that. And I agree. I think people are still interested it's a battle. I mean, I know many artists that are battling, like going to shows and they're battling against AI artists, if that's a thing. But we need to, I think there's a huge market. Like you said, they're still wanting, original work from original people. So we'll keep up the great work on that. And I'm excited, you guys, excited that you're here, and you are one heck of a marketer. So you guys, we did a spaces together and we talked about marketing. You guys could probably go find that chat. But one thing I really admire about Cindy is, like, she'll see a comment or someone, like, I just saw your Elvis one the other day because it was on a music thing. Somebody was showing a little clip of Elvis, and in the comments there's Cindy with her little Elvis. And I'm like, I love Elvis personally. And I was like, oh my gosh. But this is one thing I think you're brilliant about, is that you will post your artwork in comments in responses to certain things, so more people see your work. And you're really, really good at promoting yourself. And I love that you do that. And I think more artists need to do the same kind of thing. If you guys want to be seen, learn by example, because you see your work everywhere on X, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think especially when you're small, it's hard to you feel like you're, putting your work out, no one's seeing it. But I mean, each platform is different, but that is definitely a way to get more eyes on your work. You can comment on other people's things that are related, and if they're a bigger account, that really helped me grow initially. Like, I'm grateful now. I'm kind of at a point where I can kind of just rely on my own posts mostly, but I enjoy doing that. Like, it's fun to engage with people, that have shared interests, and, I like to comment on their posts as well. So
right.
works.
And what a great way to do it. Yeah, I have something related to that, and I think that's brilliant. So all of you guys that are just trying to get your work out there, maybe you don't feel seen, that's a great way to do it. Another thing we've talked about too is going to join groups that align with your work, like you do pet portraits. So I've seen you do this before, like a group that has something that's celebrating dogs, here's my artwork, guys. And so I just really, you always got to take and look at the steps of the people that are successful at this and see what they're doing and do it if you want to be seen. So I'm always going, look at Cindy, this is a great idea. I think that's really awesome. And I just love it. I love it. And keep bringing the beauty on X. I appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. So you guys, if you are ready, we are going to load up Cindy's work. I know you guys are super excited to see it and to see all the things we are talking about here. So let me load it up, and we're going to do some changing of screens here as well too, because I do not want to distract from her amazing work. But while I'm doing that, this is where you guys can find her. If you want to, are you the same on Facebook and Instagram as this, Cindy?
Yes, I am. But again, like, if you want to find me on social media, primarily it's X. I really am not posting frequently on the other two platforms. Also, my website, which is cindysinorartist.com, there are links to all my social media on there as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, but you guys go give her a follow. You guys know that we're streaming live on X right now. So if you're watching, go give her a follow right away. All right. If you guys are ready, I know I'm ready to go. So here we go, guys. Her first one, and she gets to tell us about each. Go ahead.
Well, obviously a little chickadee. More recently, I've realized, and I get a lot of feedback from my posts on X, and I love getting that feedback. I try to post a variety of my work, and I'll even ask people, I'll put like 4 different pieces out there, and I'll say, like, which is your favorite? And I mean, I love doing that for a couple reasons. One, it's just a way to engage with people and have it be a conversation versus just, okay, this is my piece of artwork. It invites people to engage with you, but also it gives me a lot of valuable feedback as well. And what I'm realizing, which I'm happy about because I love it too, is overwhelmingly, I feel like people love anything related to nature, animals, birds. And, so this is a piece I did a couple years ago, but it's, obviously in the nature related vein. And this one is done on tan tone paper. All these pieces are in colored pencil, but just, a very realistic, I'm always trying to make my work as realistic as possible. So that's the
You
background.
are amazing at that, by the way. Like photorealism, you guys are going to see here tonight with colored pencil. It's absolutely phenomenal. And not to say I hijacked your idea, but I'm looking at that, and I just tried that because I saw that you post like, which one do you like best? So I tried that for the first time, and it's a way for people to say, hey, and I was like, wow,
I saw that.
Really
I saw
good
your
idea.
post. Yeah.
You're like, she hijacked my idea. No, I didn't mean to, like, in a negative way, but I wanted to see, because as an artist, it's like, so what way? It kind of gives you feedback, like, what way should I be venturing? What's the most popular? It makes you kind of think for your next creation.
Exactly.
What do people like? So, yeah, and thanks for commenting on that.
Oh, no, I was so happy to see that you did that. But,
good.
I think art can be, as an artist, you might just want to produce what you like, which is great, but like for me, because I do sell my work, I obviously want it to appeal to people as well. So, right. I guess it's a plus if it's something that you enjoy drawing as well, which I do. I love nature. So.
And I have 2 different things, it's kind of harder for me to do something that I guess people like, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, but it gives me an idea that, oh, they might like this, the vibrancy, or they might like the whatever of this, because I have one that are literally are statement pieces that are made for events or awareness, and that's a whole different field.
Right.
But it's good to kind of get that feedback. And if you're trying to sell stuff to people, you kind of want to do stuff that people will buy. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, right. So yeah, exactly. But always are creating something that you guys want to create as well. But I love that idea, and I thought it was really fun to do. I might have to do that again because it was really great to get feedback. And that's right, you guys. Aren't these amazing? And I agree with you, Donna. It is absolutely spot on photorealism here. It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I know we're going to get questions. So tell everybody how long it takes you to do a certain piece and the difference on how long it might take you on paper versus a rock.
Yeah. It's really, for me, related to how big the piece is, as well as like how complex it is. Colored pencil is a very slow medium, so I tend to not make like giant pieces of art. I mean, the biggest is probably like an 11 by 14-inch drawing. I kind of like to do 8 by 10, 9 by 12 in that range, because colored pencil art looks the best with a mat. So when you frame it, you're going to have the width of the mat too. So your finished piece will end up being bigger than the drawing itself. But I mean, probably this chickadee, I did it a while ago, but probably like 10 hours, I would guess. Like if it's
Right.
like a human portrait, that could take me 20 hours. It just really depends. And like this one has more of a simple, it doesn't have like a complex background or anything like that. Although the tree, that took a while. Those kind of things, like the
Right.
focal point of this is the chickadee, but the tree and that fungus was a lot of work too. So.
And you've created it beautifully. The texture that's coming through, not only, like I said, they're saying photorealism, right? But to create that beauty, that texture, look at all the color that's just even put into, the birch there, right? Just so amazing. And also reflective of the bird and the color in the bird. It's just really beautifully done. Absolutely amazing. Okay, I don't know. A question for you. Does Cindy use a blending medium like alcohol with your color pencil?
I absolutely do, although it's not alcohol. I use odorless mineral spirits, and the brand is Gamsol, Gamsol.
Okay.
And that works great. And it's such a time saver. What I tend to do is I'll have like a base layer of pencil that I put down first. And if it's like a darker color or something, I'll go over it with the Gamsol, and it kind of, I use Prismacolor pencils, which are wax based. So it sort of melts the wax, and then I use either a Q-tip or a paintbrush, and it almost turns it into paint. Like you can move it around and it fills in like all those little, the tooth in the paper. So
Nice.
once it's dry, you have like a more solid layer of pencil, and then you can just go ahead and keep adding layers to it. You can erase it once it's dry, but it's a real time saver. And especially I use it a lot on backgrounds, because, to try to just layer the pencil, I like my finished piece to look like a painting. And to do that, I don't like the paper to show through, the texture of the paper. So, my options are either to build up the pencil a lot and a lot of layers, which takes time, and or use a solvent too.
Right.
So
Nice. And we're getting questions already off the bat. So how does one prepare a rock before you draw on it?
to draw on. Yeah, and actually for tonight, I didn't give examples of my beach stones, but I don't know if you're going to share my website or in my Etsy shop. I have examples there as well as on my social media. But the beach stones there's fairly smooth texture, and I just wash them. Like I'll just use Dawn dish liquid and a toothbrush and water and just scrub them really well. And then I use my Prismacolor pencils directly on the natural surface. I don't prep it or anything. And those actually don't take me as long because it's smaller. That's the main reason. But the process is really the same. And when I'm finished, I go over it with acrylic spray, Krylon. I use the matte just because I don't like that super shiny look. But the only thing with that, it's pretty toxic smelling, so I have to do it outside. But I'll spray it with 3 layers of acrylic spray. And my rocks are not meant to be outside. I've never tested that. Like, I don't know how they would hold up to weather. I think eventually they wouldn't, but they're really meant to just be, a piece of artwork for inside, just like a conversation piece, a paperweight, that type of thing.
Right.
But the acrylic spray preserves the art great, like just, in that for that purpose.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. I love it. And they are loving, and they're saying thank you so much for the tips. And I put her website in all the chats, everybody, and I just showed it right here, and we can show it later as after she leaves. I will show you guys her website as I will too. You guys go check that out as well. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Look at this. It's such a love-hate relationship with foxes, but they are so adorable.
I love red foxes. I think out of, all wildlife, they're probably my favorite animal. We have a lot of them near where I live here, so it's pretty cool to see them out in nature. But this one, it's a portrait. It's a wildlife portrait, but I think it's also like a narrative type. It tells a story too. And obviously there's emotion, the mother and the 2 babies. So that's kind of, what went into this. And I kept the background really white. Obviously it's snow, but even the, I guess what would be the sky, in the winter when it's just like a really cold day, sometimes the sky almost has like that whiteness to it. So I just really wanted the foxes to pop. And so I kept the background very kind of minimal on this. And I'm happy to say I actually sold this piece fairly recently to a really nice lady I met on X. She reached out to me. I post basically everything I do, and I don't actively like sell my work. I don't say, oh, this is for sale. I just, in my profile, I have my website, and people tend to just ask, if they're interested, they'll say, is it available? And I'll, either DM me or send them to my website because they can contact me there. And, that's really, I get most of my sales that way. And, I don't want to be on X, like being real salesy. I'm really there just to show my work and share it and, engage with people. So it's just kind of an added bonus, I guess. It's a way I've met some people who've actually purchased my work as well.
Mm-hmm. That's another great tip. If you guys have an account, no matter where you are, there's an option and opportunity to put in your website. I encourage you, if you have a website for your art, put it in so that people have a place to kind of go and look at that and make sure you have a contact area so they can reach out to you. But I understand you don't want to be living on X 24/7. You kind of, do your thing, and you got a life, and people know how to reach out. But congratulations on this. And I mean, I do love the foxes. Where I live, I have red foxes. And last year there was a mama that had 3 cubs, right? Pups, whatever you want to call them. And I don't know what happened to mom, but these 3 little babies were just kind of, and they were young, a few months old and whatever, running around and stuff. And I never saw mom again. And they just kind of made our home, my yard, my backyard, their home. Now, the only problem is that my chickens were out free ranging. And so that has now been corrected after the baby foxes grew up and decided that they were going to, eat and survive. And I'm not going to take out the beautiful foxes, which are adorable. I just made a yard for the chickens and kept them more secure. But I just love them. And they're big, beautiful eyes. They're bright red, coats. And they're just so playful, and yet they, they're got a little bit of, what's the word, feistiness and sneakiness too, in a way, but that's why we call them foxes. But they are a great animal.
They seem very curious and social. Like I can walk on I live on a cul-de-sac, but like I'll take my dog for a walk, and I've seen them, they'll come out and look at you. Like they're very curious. They're not skittish and running and hiding or anything. It's a little unnerving sometimes. Like, I don't think they
Right.
would, be aggressive, but they're definitely not a
Yeah.
particularly afraid type of
No.
animal.
No, they're not afraid of me. I mean, they were literally, they were very smart. Like I said, when there were three of them, so they wanted to get a chicken, they would kind of be like scout out the different areas. And I've got, several acres. And so they'd be in this one zone and you could just tell like, hey, look at me. I'm over here just playing around while the other ones were stealing a chicken. I'm like, you guys are really intelligent. And they're not
Yeah.
really afraid of me, but they're not going to come up to me and let me pet them. They don't know me. But they are sure adorable. And this
Yeah.
is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm with you guys. Look at the details on that fur, right? Oh, those eyes. Absolutely
I actually
gorgeous.
love drawing fur. Like, I
Right?
think some people find it really intimidating, but I don't know. For me, I feel like pencils are just like the perfect
Yeah,
medium. And you are
right.
drawing like individual strands of hair, but I love trying to get the texture and drawing in like the direction
Mhm.
that it grows in. Like, you can see her back and the tail, like, the fur goes off
Right.
in multiple directions. And those kind of details are what makes it realistic. So,
Hmm. Exactly. Now, I do have a question. Even though this is sold, because you still have the image, are you able to do prints if somebody ever wanted a print of this as well?
it's an area I've never like really wanted to do prints. And I've had people ask me, and I
Original.
know, it makes it more, it's, a different price point for some people. They don't want to spend the money on original art, but as long as I can keep doing it, I'm just going to only create original art and sell that. Like, I like the idea of a person having a one of a kind piece,
Right. I
versus
agree.
how many copies are out there. So,
Right.
yeah, for
Right.
now,
Because
I'm
it
just
keeps
gonna.
the original. Yeah. It keeps the original authentic and more valuable. I love that. So we just get to enjoy the wonderful image, everyone. So grab them fast if you see one you like. Now, these, I'm telling you, as a former chef, I'm like, there's so much of your food ones that blow me away. I would have got this one and I would have got this one. I don't have restaurants anymore, but I'm like, because this is just what I'm saying about find your market. Because as a restaurant owner for almost 20 something years, I loved things like this and putting them up. And so this is phenomenal. And I don't know if restaurants have ever reached out to you, but man, this is so wonderful. Tell us about this.
Well, actually, I did a similar pair first.
Yeah,
I
just
did
coming
this
up.
one second, which is fine, but it was the same idea. I don't know. Occasionally I do like to change it up because I do a lot of, animals, people, birds, that type of thing. And occasionally I do like to do still life. And I really enjoy drawing fruit or vegetables, those kind of things. And I just wanted to make it something different. I call it my whimsical apple, just, with the
Mm-hmm.
slices. It's kind of unexpected to see it like that. But for me, just doing it, it's almost like a study of one object. I just really focus on the realism, trying to get that shiny skin of the apple and, the little marks on it and all that type of thing. And I tried to make the background something that would work well with it. I chose that bright green, because it's a complementary color to the red, just to make the red pop more.
Right.
So it was fun. This was definitely a fun one to do.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I am loving it. And you guys, I believe that's the next one up. So yeah, Frosty, I know you're a huge fan. If you follow her, Frosty's really the one that kind of bugged her to have her come on my first show, guys. So
Yes,
kudos to that. But
which I
yes,
very
he
much
said that this
appreciate.
one, right? Yes, thank you. I
Sorry.
do too. But he noticed that this one sold with the pair. And
It
I
did.
think that
Yeah.
is our next one. So we can go back
Yeah.
to the other one if you want to, but just so you can see what he's talking about in the chats, these two sold together. And that is
Yeah.
so cool.
I was really thrilled about that. These, mostly everything you're seeing, I've put in my Etsy shop, or it's there currently. My Etsy shop, like I said, I started selling my rocks, which was great. I mean, I sold quite a few of them. But now that I'm back into drawing on paper, I do all my sales through there. And, now people know where to go to see my, if a piece is available. So I was really pleased that, because I felt like they kind of went together. Even though I don't want to force a person to buy 2 pieces of art, they might not want to do that. But this one too, I just want to point out the background. It almost looks black, but it's actually a really deep purple color. And that is a great example of using that solvent, the Gamsol, because to make it that solid of a dark background just with pencil would take forever. And you probably still would see a little trace of it. So I used the dark purple and some black in that, the Gamsol, and it's great for backgrounds. And also even the pear itself, because, I really wanted to get that buildup. The waxiness of the pencil kind of helps give it that shine or that burnished look. And, I use it a lot too, but that's in the earlier stages. Like then, all those little marks you see on the surface, that's after that. Like those are the final little details that I add. And, like those white highlights, you want to see the bounce of light to make it look like it's shiny. So like I'll erase and use a white pencil. Sometimes if I really want a strong highlight, I'll use and I get asked this a lot, like, how do you use white? Do you use a white pencil? And white doesn't work that great with colored pencil on top of other colors. So I have it's a white acrylic paint pen. The brand is Posca, Posca.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. And that works great on top of pencil. Like I'll use that for whiskers, and I need fine white lines, or any little white highlights, a bounce of light in an eye, which is that's what gives an eye life. I always put a bounce of light in there. So that white acrylic paint pen is a great tool.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, I know those pens. And it is. I have never thought about that, but that is an awesome tip, you guys. If you're venturing into this world or you're wanting to try it out, make sure you're writing down these amazing tips she's giving you, because it will really, really help your art in many ways, especially with colored pencil. And that is awesome to even learn, because that's what's going to be one of my questions. We might have talked about it before. Is like, how much time does it take to do a solid background like that with colored pencil? So I'm really glad you already answered that. Isn't that amazing, guys? Absolutely amazing. Congratulations on those going together, because you're right. I mean, just even with the slices, I mean, they just belong, they really do. They complement each other. They kind of belong together as a set, even though they were made at totally separate times. But I'm glad that they bought them together.
Yeah, I guess as an artist, you kind of have your vision for something, and it's nice when someone else sees it.
Right. I agree. Fantastic work. Oh, I love this one. I have a thing for hummingbirds, and I see that you love them too. Wow. Look at this.
I mean, there's different animals that I think have like sort of more of a symbolism or like a spiritual quality to them. And I actually, the other day, I just saw on X a video. It was a guy, he had his infant in like a little, one of those pillows, supportive pillows. And they were like sitting outside on the porch. And this little hummingbird came out of nowhere and was like flitting around. And, you just think like, is there some symbolism here? Did this hummingbird like appear for some spiritual reason? And actually in the comments to that video, I posted my hummingbird, going back to your idea, but
I saw the comments too, because they're like, is that like an angel? Well, what did that come around for? But I saw that same post with the comments, and it was a really cute thing. But exactly, just kind of my thing that we were talking about before. You see some kind of random post, I got a painting or a picture or a drawing or something about that. I want to be part of this conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Right.
But I find them very fascinating, hummingbirds. People have their little feeders for them, and They're just exciting when you see them. You know, they're like a little, almost like a little bee or something with those little wings
Mhm.
going. So this is actually
Mhm.
the second hummingbird piece I've done. The other one, I think I might have had it on when I was with on your show the last time, but it was like
Yeah,
a wine. It was wine pouring, and there was like a cork,
that's
and
right.
it was like sipping nectar. That was the name of it, and the hummingbird was like drinking the wine flowing down. But this one, I just really wanted to do kind of a close up, and their feathers are fascinating. They almost look like scales. You can see the way they overlap each other. Um,
Mhm.
so I just wanted to do kind of a close up and show all those little details. And I like the expression, like
Right.
it looks kind of happy.
Yes, yes, it does. It's absolutely magnificent. And I do. I have my feeders out, but they seem to really love. Well, I have a lot of berries and stuff like that too, and cherry tree and all that, and they seem to really, and the rose bushes. So, and of course, the bright colors of my red roses, they really flock to that, and I find it
Yeah,
interesting. But I just sit there and enjoy it. I love watching nature. I love where I live because we have so much animal life going on here, but they're so tiny too, right? I mean, it's just like wow. And as fast as those little wings go, you're like, man, it's amazing. But they're so vibrant too.
I
You can
know.
get some that are just like emerald and bright ruby red and all different kinds of colors, like this one as well. But the eye and the beak on itself. I mean, we are looking at the feathers, but that eye and that beak is phenomenal. On top of the wonderfulness you've done with everything else on this piece, that is marvelous.
Thank you. That background, I like doing that kind of a background a lot on my work. It's almost like, it has like that look of like a sky or clouds or, it kind of goes well in a lot of different things. So for a portrait, especially, I use that a lot, even on dog portraits. Sometimes when it's a memorial portrait for a pet, I like that, it gives me that feeling like they're in heaven. So
Mhm.
I kind of use
Yes,
that theme occasionally.
I like that. I like that a lot. It really, and it gives it like this texture too, because not everything has to be flat. I've seen some artists do even abstract things in the back, and it just it's something that complements the picture. And this is like you said, it almost looks like he's in heaven, and it's very beautifully done. I see that, guys. I know you guys are loving it. It's a fantastic piece, isn't it? Amazing.
Thank
That
you.
eye though. Oh man, it's just gorgeous. I can stare at that all day. Speaking of eyes, tell us about this piece. This is a little
It's
different for
a
you.
It is a little different for me. I was kind of like venturing into surrealism a little with this one. Um,
Mhm.
and it's not for everyone. I think the black dripping in the background is a little like Salvador Dali
I
style.
know, I
Like,
love
but the name of this piece is Athena's Dream, and Athena is the goddess of wisdom. And of course, there's a lot of symbolism with owls being wise. And I think Athena
it.
is
Mhm.
not seen with a snowy owl, but I just felt like, her dream is to me, that's her eye. And, she's seeing this vision of this snowy owl. And it's kind of like in the nighttime, almost like a positive vision being a white owl. And I also, that moon in the background, that's another like recurring theme I've used in some of my work. I drew a picture of a girl with a dog, and that was in the background as well. So
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I know that one. Yeah, and I love it. But I do like that you've stepped out, from your norm. I do like myself some Salvador Dali. I like abstract. I think you probably know that a little bit about me.
yeah,
But this is so awesome. So the black, again, I mean, obviously that's some way that you've manipulated it versus spending 1,000 hours creating that darkness of the black.
yeah. And this is a large
Yeah,
piece. The drawing is 11 by 14. It's big. So
yeah,
it took a while. Luckily, the owl, that's the white paper mostly that you're
mhm,
seeing, and
really,
then I add all the
wow.
shadows and things like that. But at least I didn't have to fill in the whole owl with like a dark color. But yeah, this is a little different. I mean, I don't think I'm a surrealist, but it was fun to step out a little and,
It's
out
still
of
fun.
my.
I think it's awesome. I mean, I sit there and always find little details that I just love to geek out on, guys. And I don't know how big your screen is. My tab over here, I have a big monitor. I'm looking at the claws even of the beautiful owl. There's so much detail just even in that. And this beautiful, silky, feathers of this white owl. I remember when I lived in northern Arizona for a long time, we were just driving and there's an owl on the street, and obviously our headlights made it, shocked it, and it just flew up in the air, and it was just so big and so beautiful. This gorgeous white owl. I was like, wow, they were just something to see. It's majestic if you ever get to see one in real
Yes,
life.
that's a good adjective. They're really fascinating. I hear them a lot, but I don't see them often. And it freaks my dog out when he hears like that hooting in the backyard at night. It's dark, you can't see anything, but
Right. I know, that's funny. My husband had to put out like motion sensor lights and stuff like that because the dogs could hear whatever in the world's going on. We got deer jumping in the fence, we're doing all kinds of different things. And they just, we'd be up all night long, and I'm like, oh, good grief. But they do, right? We even have the turkey. So when the turkeys are making noises and stuff, right? The dogs are like, what is that noise?
they're eerie. It's like an eerie sound too. It's like turkeys are strange. I don't know.
Yes, they are. But man, this is beautiful. And just a little quick hi, welcome all new viewers on all different channels. I see a whole bunch of people are joining over there on YouTube and Rumble. Welcome, everyone, which is so nice to have you. Glad you're here to support Cindy and enjoy this amazing work. Phenomenal piece. Are you going to ever do something like this again now you've kind of dipped your toes into this field?
I don't know. I never know what's coming with me. Like I go off on tangents occasionally, so there's a possibility. Not right away.
Nice.
I probably will do another owl, not like a surrealist type composition, but I do have an interest in drawing more owls, so maybe sometime soon I'll do one.
That would be nice. Looking forward to seeing that for sure. Oh man, look at the bright green.
This is I actually sold this one too. I've I'm very grateful that I have been selling some of my work recently. I feel like this has been a good year for me so far. I hope it continues, but this one is called Mallard's Reflection because of obviously the reflection in the water. And I love doing that iridescent green on the head. That was like really fun. And also like trying to make his chest look wet. Do you see that the shiny like highlights there? So that was a fun exercise.
There's so much to compliment on this piece. And the first thing, that grabs me, of course, is that beautiful green, but I'm even looking at the texture on the back of the wings, where you can just see this amazing, and you can even see the wet kind of on the top of the, like, I guess you call the shoulder area, right? Just absolutely remarkable. Isn't this gorgeous? Everything about this is so realistic. It is so beautiful. That reflection is amazing. But this just captures your eye right away. Wow.
Wings are actually really complex to draw. There's definitely like a symmetrical pattern in the veins in them. And it definitely takes some time. Birds are not a quick drawing to do.
Right. And I think the same thing. I'm loving that you guys are loving these. Thank you so much for your comments and compliments. I agree, guys. Isn't it beautiful?
I appreciate all these
water.
Awesome comments. And again, like my solvent was a huge time saver on doing the water, and that dark brown area saves a lot of layers of pencil.
Man, absolutely amazing. Just right. You guys, I'm just loving it. So realistic. And you really have a beautiful talent for this. I cannot say that enough, because there are drawings and there's drawings where you're like, sometimes you kind of wonder, is that a photo? And you have to do a double take, and it's things like something like this. So, that you're like, wow, you just nailed this. Yeah,
I think nature is like the best subject matter. It's just endless possibilities, and like the colors, like where would you see those like amazing shades of iridescent green? It's really amazing when you think about it.
right. Right. I have a question. That's a good question. Do you take your own photos? So when you are doing something like this, what are your reference? That's I'm going to add to it. So what is your reference medium? Do you look at photos? Do you take your own photos? How does that process work?
I wish I could take more, like, it's kind of tough for wildlife, but what I do, I always have to use reference photos because, for me to get all the realistic details, I need to look at something. But I always use free reference photo websites,
Okay.
because obviously a professional wildlife photographer, that's their work, and I guess it can be a gray area, if you're creating your own work from it and you've substantially changed it or whatever. But I just shy away from that, and just to be safe. There are, several websites out there with tons of options. I mean, I can just search for something and, a bunch of free photos will come up. So that's what I rely on the most. And of course,
Nice.
if it's a commission, I'm using the client's photo, which is fine. But, and that brings like a whole nother kind of question. Is it okay if I use AI? Like, could I go and, on Grok and ask for a picture of a mallard duck, like a realistic photo? I haven't ventured into that yet. I feel like it could be a tool, but where are those photos coming from that are generating an image? It's all a very gray
Right.
area, I think, but
Right. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys, if hashtags, from what I've done in my research, if you put do not use AI, because they're just gathering our images, our paintings, our photos, and whatever to compile into its storage in its memory database. But I was told, and I don't know if this is 100% accurate, if you literally put a hashtag do not use AI, it tells it you can't use it. It's giving it permit, or it's telling it you don't have permission to take this image. So I don't know. It's just from the research I've done. But I'm sure that's still kind of gathering that. And then I have some artists that go and do use AI to kind of generate an inspiration image. And they're like, well, Grok can't figure out hands. It's like sometimes it has 6 fingers versus 5. It's putting things weird. Like, it's not really quite developed. It might do a photo for you, but if you're asking for like a drawing or something like that, it's not 100% with it yet. So just be aware of
yeah.
that. And then another thing too, in our wonderful group, especially over on Truth, our artist corner, and I guess on X too, because they're mingling over with me. But they ask, because we have so many photographers in our group, and some of our artists say, "Hey, I would love to use a photo." So get your permissions, because they might feel honored. Just another little FYI for you guys.
Yeah, you can definitely ask people, I would err on the side of just make sure you get permission if, you're going to use someone else's work. And, especially if I'm then selling a piece, I don't want to be using somebody's work without permission. So I just go with the free photos, basically.
Right. Exactly. I love that. Always, yeah, always ask for. I can imagine if somebody was used something of mine without letting me know. I'm really crazy about that. But I've also had that problem. I've done work and I always like to stand somewhat in front of my painting unless it's professionally being done or whatever, because I've had somebody like take a picture, Photoshop it, change it slightly, and then claim it's their own. So I'm really hypercritical about do not steal my art. So yeah, just make sure you guys are always getting permission. And then thank you over there. Love to have you over there on Pill Tube, right? How do you do that? Well, you guys, she is telling us how she's doing this. So we are super excited to have you guys. Look at this. I love peacock feathers. They have some wild ones here every once in a while, and so every once in a while I get to find a peacock feather that they've, left or shed it off, and they're so beautiful. This is a gorgeous rendering of this.
Also that iridescence, similar to the mallard duck. Are they vicious, by the way, peacocks? Are they
Um,
like?
I haven't really seen them. So my house that I got, it was sectioned into like three different sections. So they had horses and cows here at the time, and so this back section we don't really use except just to kind of picnic or whatever. So they've learned that this is like a free zone, that there's no more animals in there, and they've kind of come in, and the turkeys are there, the peacocks are there, so they don't get to coast because that's like a three acres kind of away from me. Um, but I get to see their feathers. But I've heard that they are not the nicest birds. That's
Yeah,
just what
I've
I've
heard that
heard.
too. I've never
They
like,
sure.
been around one, but this um
They sure are beautiful, and they can keep dropping their feathers, I'll tell you that.
this is actually for an X, the community. I am an artist that I'm the admin of. This is our banner in our group, and I chose that because I want people to show off your work like a peacock would with its beautiful feathers. So that's our kind of like little logo. But this was just, I just obviously wanted to do a study of like all the close-up detail of one feather. I I would assume drawing a whole peacock would take me a long time. But
Right? But this is really beautiful. So I think you said most of your stuff takes 10 to 20 hours, but they want to know how long did this one in particular take to do?
this is smaller. It's 8 by 6 inches. So, you know, I would say maybe like 8 to 10 hours, I'm guessing.
Right.
I don't always really keep track. I just,
Right.
have spent a
Right.
few
I
hours
don't
at a time.
know.
I lose
Right.
track
I
of
don't know.
time.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of what I was going to say. We get into this art zone and we just go until we're like, we can't anymore, or we just are like, okay, now I'm tired. Next thing you
Yeah,
know, it might be an hour, it might be 3 hours, might be 5 hours. Depends on how, what you're working on. But it's
right.
not like we are clocking in or out. But several hours for sure, guys. You can't see this
Yeah.
kind of work and not realize this is definitely taking a good amount of time. And it's usually not in one setting. I don't know about you, but most of us don't literally complete a piece in just one
Oh
moment.
yeah. I definitely I can't sit still for that long. I mean, I'll tend to work. The longest I'll work will be like, 2 hours where I'm just literally sitting and not moving. Like I have to get up and do something and come back to it. So, it's more
Right?
sporadic, I guess, but
Exactly. Beautiful work.
thank you.
Talk about photorealism, guys. Look at this.
Yeah, this one is also on that tan tone paper. I occasionally like
Mhm.
to use that because sometimes like less is more, I think. Like I don't want a background that's busy. I don't want to like detract from the subject or whatever, but I just felt like this, like the real focal point is that eye. Like, deer have those soft brown eyes, and I mean, I'll admit they can be annoying because they chew off the flowers in my flower garden and that type of thing. But they're I always love seeing them anyway, when they're in my
Right?
yard, and they just have that very gentle, like soft look to
Yeah.
them. So, and this was
Mhm.
just about like trying to get all the, get it to that sort of more hyper realistic level with all the details.
Right? I mean, I love the deer too. Not too happy. Kind of the same thing with the foxes. They're survivors, so they find something they eat. Took out a chicken or so, and then last year the deer came and ate all the flowers from my peach tree. I didn't get any peaches. I was like, come on, man.
Oh,
So
they
I
know what
feel
they
bad.
like. They know what they
Yeah,
like.
like,
Whatever's
oh,
tasty,
right. You're like, okay, and I don't want to deter them because then they always bring their babies to that back section, like I was saying. And every year I get to see them stroll through. Sometimes they're playing. I see a group of them and they're all just running and playing with each other. I mean, they really know that that's a safety protection, I guess, zone. But yeah, stop eating my flowers. Now, on a different note, I mean, this whole piece is awesome, but there are certain things like it just catch my attention, Cindy, and I hope you have noticed that. But it's like that nose. I mean, I'm looking at the beautiful eye. The skin and the fur is phenomenal. But the details on that nose, I was like, wow, that is so realistic. The whole piece is, but wow.
I love
Man,
using
I
do you
love
see how like the nose has blue and there's
it.
some pink? Like I like using colors like that. Like if you're drawing something that's black or white, especially, they're very reflective of other colors, so white is never pure white. It could have pink in
Right.
it, could have light blue, lilac, you know, cream, like I peach. I like to use all these different colors, and it just adds like a complexity in that. I don't know, that gives it more of that realistic, like almost three-dimensional quality. And I draw a lot of like noses, obviously, on dogs and, other
Right.
animals. And they tend to be black, but you can add other interesting colors like purples and blues. And it just it gives it more of a realistic look. So,
Right. It's like with paint, making a chromatic black. Very seldom do I actually use just black. I mean, like from a
right.
tube, I make my own. And it's the same way what you're describing to me is a colored pencil version of a chromatic black, because that's built from your red, blue, and greens to get this really beautiful black. But it's also able to reflect these colors that you can see, like in this, right? To see all these amazing other colors inside of that.
Mhm.
I mean, it's phenomenal. Now, how long does it take you to do an eye like that? Because there is so much, right? So much levels and layers of color, like in the eye and the nose. That's probably takes you a lot longer and probably multiple layers, if I'm correct. You can kind of tell everyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not huge. So time wise, no, but it is a lot of layers, and different, different shades of brown. I like to put blue in the highlight, like there's usually a white dot in there, but I like to use blue over the brown. It just gives it a little bit more dimension, but everyone's different. But I like to do the eyes really early on in the process. Like my process generally is, I'll sketch like a line drawing of whatever it is, and then I'll go in and fill in like my basic values. And some
Nice.
artists will work like, for example, they would just work on that ear initially and just complete it till it's 100% done and then move on to another area. I tend to like fill in my values, the entire drawing. I'll
Mhm.
block in like where the shadows are, where the lighter areas are, and get like a base layer of pencil on the entire drawing. Then after that, then I'll do the eyes like to
Mhm.
completion, because I feel like that's like a big factor in a resemblance, especially in humans, but also in animals
Right.
too. Like it kind of starts to give life to it, and it gives me a sense of like, am I on the right track? Does it look right? So I like to get the eyes and the other facial features done early on in the process.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So fascinating. And I'm kind of the same way too. There are people that, yeah, like you said, just kind of focus and they move on. No, I like to, I first of all, I got to tone everything, and then you're right, you got to put in certain, with me, certain colors and certain shading and where things going to go. So I work that same way as well too. But I love it. It's working, and I really love the tone paper. I've told people this kind of before too. If you're drawing, you can change the type of paper, from different kinds of textures to even different kinds of colors, and it could be simple, but it makes this pop. It gives it such a beautiful background. So love this piece.
Thank you.
Here we go, guys. Right. Love your food too. Yeah, I do. I don't know. Every time I see one of your food ones, not that it's any better than anything else you've done, but the chef inside of me it pops. It gets so excited when I see your food ones. This is phenomenal. All right,
Thank
tell us
you.
about this wonderful watermelon.
I mean, again, like, I guess some people would just call this a study of, but, it's just my version of a still life where I just really, it's kind of, a hyper realistic conversation piece, I guess, like I'll post this on
Right,
X and people will be like, oh my gosh, now I want to eat watermelon. I feel hungry. My mouth is watering. And it just cracks me up.
right,
And I love that because it's like, you want your art to affect people in different ways, not just like, oh, that's just, an interesting painting or it's pretty or whatever. Right. But, you know, it gets like an emotional response, and it could be hunger even, right? So,
right. I love that. I mean, it's the same reason why, as a chef, that you want pictures of food and stuff around the place, because people walk in going, "Oh, now I'm hungry." It kicks in that endorphin, you know, and like, that looks good. But go ahead, now tell this piece what.
Again, like my techniques of, you know, using like blending those deep like shades of red, you know, using the blending solvent was very helpful. But to get that shine, which you want it to look juicy. And like on the seeds especially, you know, they're dark, but they have those like little tiny white highlights. That's my white acrylic paint pen. And then those areas on the flesh that are kind of white, I used on there, you know, just to give it that shiny. Like you can use your eraser. I have a battery operated eraser. That's what works best for colored pencil. It actually never fully erases. Like if you make an error, like say I accidentally got some of the red on the white background, it would never come off. Like you can erase it to a degree, but you can use it to remove some of the color to create a highlight area, and then maybe, you know, add a white pencil or whatever. But that white pen really gives it that extra, like, bright white highlight. So
I love that, you know, and I think that's awesome because like you said, that eraser is going to give you that texture. It's going to give you those wonderful lines and grains that's inside the watermelon. But I was kind of wondering about that. I have another artist that's a color pencil artist too, and he talked about the electric eraser, but I'm like, he does some bright, bold reds too. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because you're probably never going to get that completely out, but it makes great texture like we're seeing here. That is awesome.
It's just absolutely fun to work with these bright colors too. Because I do a lot of, you know, animals, and it's, you know, browns and gray and whatever. And so I think that's why too, I change it up occasionally, and I'll just do a fun piece like this because I want to use actual like bright colors sometimes.
Right. Right. Well, you need that. You need a little bit of brightness in your life every once in a while. And it's not, like you said, not like those are not fun to do or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm a person that really likes bright, bold colors. So I completely understand when you get into that mood. This is phenomenal. I agree, guys. Thank you so much for your wonderful compliments. Lighten up the chats, I see. Think that one's good, right? You guys, you're going to be leaving hungry by the time this show's over.
At least it's all healthy, right?
I know. I mean, it's perfect because tomorrow we go into healthy cooking. So this is great. Awesome. Look at this, guys. Oh, wow. Tell us.
This is actually one I posted on X, and someone reached out to me in the comments and, you know, was like, "Oh, is this available?" And I really hadn't considered selling it. Like I've done a lot of drawings that they were sort of, you know, accumulating, and I wasn't putting them out there and selling them. And part of it was because I was focused on selling my beach rocks, but I was like, yeah, I'll sell it. So, you know, I sold it to this person, and she's since bought quite a few other pieces from me.
Really?
But again, it's not like I wasn't overtly like, oh, this is available, it's for sale, you know. I guess people, when something resonates with them, you know, sometimes they'll just ask. And so,
you know, right.
Social media has been great that way.
Like my sister, she loves strawberries. She's got, you know, strawberry little curtains in her kitchen, and she's got, you know, like her salt and pepper shaker, I believe, are strawberries. So for someone like this would see something like this, she goes, "This would go perfect in my kitchen," right? Because it would absolutely resonate with them, and we never know what people are collecting, you know. So I love that. I mean, this is just so bright and cheery though too, you know, and it'd be perfect for a kitchen piece, or again another restaurant piece of some sort, right? But it just brightens you up because also the colors are so bright, right? And cheery. It just gives you that, also that endorphin of that, right? Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. See, exactly. I'm trying to get your chat. I'm over here enjoying the art myself, guys. So I'm trying to get your chats up here, right? You need to visit your refrigerator. I told you guys. So realistic.
At least, you know, at least I'm not like putting pieces of cake, pictures of cake or things like that up there. At least it's healthy.
Exactly. Exactly. I love this. This is so bright and beautiful. Phenomenal. And so
Right.
I have a thing about this because I know you said you've used different pictures or whatever, but I don't know. To me, I was like, my question when I saw something like this is like, did you have a strawberry that you were eating one day? And you're like, I'm going to do, or I don't know if this is like from a photo that you've seen before, or if you were actually just eating this and going, I'm going to do an actual study of a piece of fruit that I have here.
It was again another free photo.
Photo.
I love
Okay.
the website is called Unsplash, and I think it's a lot of like up and coming photographers. So they'll do like, photo studio quality photography. And I'm not sure how they're compensated. They must be compensated somehow. They're putting their work out there, but then it's available for other people to use, and also getting their name out there too. But some of these interesting like food photos, to try to do that yourself, like you would need the correct lighting, which by the way changes constantly. Even if you're like set it up indoors, if you have a window, that light's going to change over the course of a couple hours or whatever. And the slow pace at which I draw, it would just be so frustrating. So I don't really have a choice. Like for me, I have to work with photos. Unless I could set up my own still life, but I'd still have to take a photo of it to complete
Right.
it. So
I agree. I remember being in drawing class and they'd have, a still life and have certain things. And you're like, but you're right. You're like, okay, things are changing. I don't care how many windows
yeah.
you got here. I mean, it is difficult. So yeah, even if you have this and you maybe set up your own still life, take a picture. I
Yeah,
even
exactly.
encourage you, even when you're painting, to take a picture of what you're doing. It also helps you like look and say, oh, I've missed out on some details. It's just really a great thing. But this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Don't quit. Don't quit. All right. Going into flowers.
Yeah, flowers are not something I've spent a lot of time on. I'll draw them occasionally, but they're so much work. Like, it seems like, oh, one flower shouldn't be that big of a deal. But like this in particular, to get those layers of purple, that deep purple, like I really wanted it. It's a morning glory, by the way, which probably,
Right.
a lot of you would know. But to get that sort of velvety look to the petals. And morning glories, to me, like it has sort of that glowing center. Like I've even like other photos I've seen of morning glories, they all kind of have that. I find that makes them very unique, which is why I wanted to draw this. But yeah, they're a ton of work, honestly. And it can get tedious after a while. I mean, I could do one, but if I did like, a drawing that had multiple flowers, it would take a long time.
Right. I just know from painting, I guess I have drawn some too, but yeah, it does. And I'll be doing all these kind of things. I'm like, oh, that one rose is taking me the longest thing, right? But I
It's
can't
more
even imagine
than
with color pencil because of
yeah.
the layers of the color, right? So much deep, beautiful layer in this. Wow.
But I
Wow.
do love like botanical style art,
Mhm.
so I guess that's kind of what inspired this, just to try to make it very accurate and realistic looking.
Right. It is phenomenal. Right. You guys are loving this too. Loving the morning glories. Isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely, guys. Nice. Cass over on X, loving the morning glory, right? From the Selva, it's very velvety petals, right? Absolutely. Just amazing. Just
Yes,
amazing.
flowers are hard in color pencil. I concur. An interesting thing to note is that green is a very difficult natural green, like, that you see in nature, is almost impossible to replicate, especially with colored pencils. I own every shade of green I can get my hands on, and it's still so hard to replicate because when you think about it, you know, I don't know the scientific reason behind it, but how your eye sees green in nature, there's a scientific like
Mhm.
process there. And you can't produce that exactly artificially. So it's always kind of challenging to do leaves and things like that, in grass, like anything green, to replicate it. You just have to kind of
Right?
get as close as you can.
Exactly. Well,
I'm not a I'm
go
not a
ahead.
painter, but is painting the same? Is it hard to get greens accurately?
Yes and no. I guess other people can kind of talk about it, but it depends. The first one that I've really done with leaves, and in fact, I've got to go, and it's the last thing I'm actually working on with my hummingbird garden because I did put a certain kind of leaf there that I'm actually going to shape it on the outside. I want it to, to be more of a stained glass kind of thing, but I put a totally different leaf that doesn't belong, but I'm going to shape it inside another leaf, but again, to come on top of it to do the veins and the whatever, and to put in some light into it, and to it's the last thing I'm literally focusing on, because I think you're right. It's one of the hardest things to accomplish, to have that kind of light come through, because you're right. Our eyes perceive the color green so much different because of, the light and different wavelengths and all, because green reflects so much light through it as well too, right? It just is different. We see it, we're sensitive to it, but it's more has more shades and more light than any other color from the science that I know about it.
Yeah.
But you've done a great job.
Thank you.
You've done a phenomenal job. And I know so what you guys say. You have to mute the greens to catch the eye as it appears in nature. There you go. That's what Frosty's saying as he paints it. He goes, he knows the battles of greens every day. Yeah, he is. He's a landscape painter. Not the only thing, but pretty much so. And he, every blade of grass, he's amazing at this kind of stuff. But he would know about this. And so that's what he says. He says you have to mute the greens to catch the eye. As it appears in nature. Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if any of you other artists, you can get the greens and oils. I love oils, but that's my thing, right? But greens are hard, right? I agree. See, so that seems to be a running theme throughout all the different
Okay.
mediums, but
It's not just me based on the
it's
comments.
not just you,
Good to know.
right? It's not just you, right? Amazing. Absolutely beautiful. We'll keep on going because I think you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Speaking of animals, oh, this baby is so beautiful.
This is probably the dog portrait I'm most proud of. And actually, I'm going to brag a little bit here, but this one went viral on X. I got like 3 million views or something on this one. I'm not sure. I think it was a glitch or something. But anyway, this is kind of special. The dog's name is Billie Holiday, and this was a few years ago. But when I was posting on Instagram before I was on X or even Facebook, there was a guy. He was from California, Long Beach, and he had like some kind of art magazine. And I think he dabbled in his own art. And he liked my colored pencil work. And he DM'd me one day and he said, I have this really great set of polychromo pencils, and I would love for you to have them, because he said, I don't do colored pencil work, and they're just sitting here, whatever. And they're pretty expensive, like these big sets of really good quality pencils. So I was like, I'd love to have them, but I said, do you by chance have a dog? Like, I would be happy to do a dog portrait for you in exchange. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you asked me that. I have a service dog and she's my whole world, like I rely on her. I'm not sure what her role was, like, for him personally, but so he sent me this photo, and I just loved like her expression. Like, she just looks so smart and so alert, and I can just see like the type of dog she is. And I also loved, you can just tell it was one of those kind of sunny like afternoons with the dappled sunlight on the pavement. And I was just really like taken with that, the whole photo, and like I love doing this piece. So she's kind of special.
Right. This one piece. This one piece got your content creator badge, just with that many
Yeah,
pieces.
it actually did,
Right? That's
because
awesome. I believe it.
that got me like across the finish line so I could monetize on X. So I have to thank
Right?
Billie Holiday. She did it for me.
Look at that. And she is phenomenal. And you guys are right. It's very, very much photorealistic here going, right? It's absolutely beautiful. And again, I always notice probably, the other things here too, because I am just in love with the texture of the concrete or whatever, the tiles underneath her. That in itself, to make that beautifully marbled kind of look, is just amazing. I mean, she's a phenomenal. And we've talked a little bit about colors too, adding that pop of color there too. But I am just in love with, what you have done underneath her as well. I mean, this is one good, complete piece.
Yeah, sometimes, like it's not just the subject itself, but it is like everything else that goes in. It's like a full composition, like all the parts have to work together. And some of those, like you said, you know, drawing those little marks on the concrete and all that, it takes a lot of time. Um, but I love it, so I don't mind.
Oh my God. It's so beautiful. I just love this. Everyone is right. It does. It looks like she's about ready to just get up or move. She's definitely alert. She's, looking at something. She's, got a very attentive look. I agree, guys. Absolutely amazing. Now, was the collar that color, or was that an addition choice?
No, it was the color of her collar. Yeah, it
Okay.
was red. I love
Like,
actually when there is a collar on the dog or cat, because it gives like a little color pop, like
mhm.
you're done drawing the animal and it's like all the black, white, brown, gray, and then you get to use like a fun color. It's like a little fashion accessory.
I love it. And that's what we had kind of talked about before too, because you're like, that little pop of color just really brings it to life.
Yeah.
And I can agree with that more. That's kind of why I asked about that. But yeah, exactly. And see, such realistic surroundings. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad you noticed the tile too, because I'm like, right? I was like, it's unbelievable. I'm not the only one. Oh, that's awesome. That is really beautiful. Congratulations on that one. I can see why it was so popular.
Thank
Man,
you.
you're welcome. Speaking of animals.
So, I kind of had a lull on, I was like in between not working on a commission or anything like that. So I put a post out on X and I said, give me in the comments, a photo of something, like what should I draw next, basically. And I'll just pick
Oh,
a
good
photo
idea.
from the comments and I'll draw drawing from it and I'll post it, just for fun. So I got tons and tons, of course, and so many, it was hard to pick. But this one really resonated with me because the horse reminded me of a pony I had when I was a kid. His name was Jake. And, in the winter, like they would grow their long coats, the long fur. And it just reminded me of that so much. But I just thought this was so sweet. Again, it's a portrait, but it tells a story too. And obviously the sweet emotion between the dog and the horse. The dog's name is Winston and the horse is Honey Bun, which I think is so cute. But
Mm-hmm.
this was really fun. And the
I
gentleman who gave it to me, he
see.
was, gave the photo or posted the photo or whatever. He was just thrilled with it. And he actually ended up purchasing the drawing from me, which,
That's so cool.
that was an
That
added
is
bonus.
so cool.
But yeah.
Yes, that is. I've always had animals. I always had, big ranch in Arizona, and people would just drop off animals. And we ended up with a horse who was pregnant. We didn't know she was pregnant, but I had the dogs already, and the relationship between them, they would lick her and she would smile, like, I don't know if you know Mr. Ed, and she was a
Yeah.
palomino, so she would lift her lips, she would smile and laugh at that, and then she would kind of like do this little nip, like not hurt, but like a little nip them, and then run away. And she thought she was hilarious. But the relationship between dogs and horses is so much fun to watch. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. I think it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Right? Okay. Yeah. I love you can feel the breeze being there. Yeah, that is awesome. Just
And it just
fantastic.
looked,
Look at this, right?
the grass with like some of the dirt. It just reminded me of like, that early spring where the horse still has like the shaggy coat and it's probably still pretty cold out, but the snow's all melted. Like you can just see that, and it tells a story to me. It just brought back
Right.
some cool memories.
I think it's phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. I love that. Give it a little kiss. Look at baby. I know. I'm so in love with what we're seeing here, the motion of the dogs and the tenderness between the dog and the horse, that I need to sit there and look at the fur, right? Look at the details. Look at these beautiful eyes. There's that collar with that little splash of color, right? So much. And you can see how much you love doing fur. And like you said, it's just kind of going a little bit every way to show how realistic it is,
Yeah.
But this is such a tender piece of love between the two of them. Wow.
And this is not
Heaven.
huge. The size of the drawing on this is 8 by 6 inches. Because again, it's
Really.
the whole like the sky, the grass, like the background takes time. But I love those little details, like drawing that little fence in the back and the tree line, and I don't know, it's just fun. I really wish colored pencils were a little quicker. I would do more landscapes because I really do enjoy them, but I'd have to switch to a different medium, I think.
Yeah, I mean, because I have a hard time as an artist painting very small. I get really nervous about it, and it freaks me out because all of my pieces are like 36 by 48. I mean, they're huge, and there's a sense of like almost a dance and emotion when I paint because it's literally in front of me. So I have done some smaller pieces, and I'm like, as an artist. But with that being said, I can't imagine doing a color pencil piece on a canvas size. 36 by 48. You'd be there all year long.
Yeah. It would take a long time.
Right. And a huge shout out to the chats over there on Rumble. Thank you for your support over there. Hockey Love, we love you. She says, thank you, Cindy. And Lady H, you're welcome for bringing her on the show. This is what I do, guys. A little quick thing. If you guys want to be on my show, you're an artist, a poet, a photographer, an author. I mean, this is what I do. I love to highlight other artists. And so you guys are very welcome. And thank you so much for supporting the mission to bring the arts, as many places as we can. All right. This is phenomenal. Look at this. Oh, nice. Tell us about this beautiful zebra.
That was also like more work than I bargained for. This, you'd think it wouldn't be too bad doing stripes, but getting back to black and white, which are not truly just black and white, like all of those stripes have multiple colors in them, which you probably can't see unless you really examine it closely. But, there's brown, blue, purple, like all shades of gray. The stripes themselves have very little actual black pencil in them. But in doing that, it gives it the contour, like you can see on the neck, the way the light hits it and the contour of the muscles. Like you have to follow all those contours when you're drawing the stripes. So it was actually pretty complex, but fun for sure. I haven't drawn horses. I mean, I drew that one you just showed, and then, a zebra is kind of in that vein, but I really would like to draw more horses. They're really beautiful animals and I love them. I had horses when I was a kid, so this was interesting. And I liked the pose, kind of looking back, with the head looking back over the shoulder.
That's right.
And I kept the background just kind of like soft and like not, just a little color, because I really didn't want anything to compete with all those stripes and the zebra.
Is this a textured paper? Because I don't know if you've created that texture or it's the paper's textured, but it's really a great effect.
No, it's more like I generally use always the same kind of paper, and it's not highly textured at all. So it must be you're just seeing like, I think because I put a lot of like white hairs and things, like in the mane, and then the stripes themselves, like the edge of the stripes are not smooth. There's like little hairs that shoot out of them. So you have to like
Okay.
draw those little lines in there too. So it definitely took some time.
Right. And I was, because I have a bigger screen, and I was looking at the green in the background and stuff like that. And I'm like, whatever you have done has created this amazing, I want to almost say cloudish in a way, but you can see that you have worked so hard on putting some like of a texture in there. It's really a great effect. And I love the colors built into his fur, and through the stripes. I see that on my large monitor. If you guys are on a phone, I'm sorry. This is really beautiful. Absolutely phenomenal.
The background really is a lot of that. When I use the solvent, you can kind of push the pencil around, and I kind of use like a circular motion with a Q-tip, and it gives it almost, I feel like it looks like a watercolor almost, that kind of an effect. So
Right.
it definitely creates kind of a texture when you do that.
I agree. I love it. That's kind of something I was thinking about. I was just doing some watercolor and salt experiments. It's great what it does, but it provides a little like a texture, but it's really neat. And you've created this again with colored pencils, everyone. Isn't that awesome? What a fantastic piece. What a fantastic piece, man. And then again, I also like that it's a little bit more muted, his body in the front foreground, which really gives you a highlight on that face and neck and mane. A really good choice on that as well.
Yeah, I kind of wanted it to look a little out of focus, in the forefront there, just so you focus on his face.
That's right. Beautiful, beautiful job. We are loving your work so much. All right, tell us about this.
So, I had mentioned before that I taught some classes, but I also did a couple like private lessons with individuals, and I worked with this young woman. It was more teaching her how to draw. Like she really had no experience with drawing, so we worked on a lot of different things. But one day we sat out. This was like in her backyard, basically, and it was kind of early spring, but it was one of those kind of warmer days, rare warmer days. So I was like, oh, let's sit outside and, we'll draw out there. And, again, like this is small, it's 8 by 6 inches, but to try to draw all that and fill it in, her lesson
like
was
a plein air
more long. So, we worked on it and then took a photo, and I finished it later. Because of course I couldn't have done I would have been out there for hours. And of course the light would have changed. It would have been dark by the time I finished, but
exactly.
it was fun.
Right. I was saying, welcome to the plein air of colored pencils. Yeah. I mean, I've had plein air artists, in our group and on the show too. It's true. You only have like an hour, and that light is shifting. The temperature shifting. You don't know, it might start raining. You don't have much time to capture that. And to capture that in a medium like acrylic or oil a lot faster than with the color pencil. And look how much texture and details and layer of color that's going on in this. Man, I don't know about that. She says it's hard to color the whole piece of paper. It might be. It's definitely time consuming for sure.
It is. I mean, I really, like I said before, I love landscapes and I would do more of them, but to do the trees in the background, the ones in the background behind that stone wall fence, like literally to fill all that in just with color alone, but then you have to form some sort of like detail of all the leaves. There's a lot more than you would ever think. But I was happy with the end result, at least. I do love drawing trees. I mean, usually it ends up being like a branch or something, like with a bird, but I love drawing the tree bark.
I love trees too, and I was kind of just, before winter kicked in, I call this big, huge tree in my backyard the Magnificent. It's just enormous. And after I had a plein air painter on, I was like, oh, okay. back when I lived in Arizona, the temperatures were much nicer that I could go outside and paint, especially early morning or whatever the fall. But I'm like, before winter hits, I want to go capture that. And I just took my sketch pad out, and I'm like, wow, and I forgot. Just reminded me how much you love trees, because they are so much life to them with their texture, their colors, their little holes, their knots, and you can see each little one that you've created in this piece. It just has its own little personality to them, right? And it's so beautifully done,
Totally.
Cindy. Oh, I love this.
These are oak trees, which, obviously they're very old, like they're big, massive oak trees. So it's pretty cool.
Isn't it? And that's funny because, right, even though this is really tiny, this picture, I agree with you, Dada, this picture literally gives the illusion that it is a huge piece. I agree. You guys.
Sometimes it is fun to just have like a little, if you can mat like a small drawing like this and frame it. Some people do, like, they don't have huge wall space, they just like a nice little piece of artwork. So I feel like nowadays people love like huge canvases. I think abstract is really popular and stuff like that. So, but that, it doesn't fit in everyone's home. Like sometimes it is nice to have like smaller pieces. So that's my niche.
Speaking for somebody who creates really large, first of all, it's expensive if somebody wants to buy a larger piece, so they kind of shy away from that. And then to ship it is another major expense if they want to. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of my main work goes for a specific reason. They're at museums or events and things like that. But for me, it's just a comfortability that I prefer, because I like to be able to just like move. And I feel like if I'm down I actually also have to easel. I mean, I've tried painting even on the table, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is totally right. So it's like more of a choice of comfortability for me. But the downside to that is, these are going to sell a lot more easier because it's something that people can put anywhere in their home, right? And it just, like you said, Dada, it just almost, you're expecting this to be a huge piece because there's so much dynamic in this one. So awesome. Absolutely awesome.
All of my work I sell. I do not frame it. Like I sell it unframed. I mean, I almost always present it like I put a mat with it. I mat it, and then I put it in like a clear archival envelope, so it's presented nicely. But I feel like people have their own taste of frames. A frame has to go with your decor. Some people like a simple black frame. Some people like, a rustic frame, whatever. So,
right.
And that keeps the cost down too, but I always offer like standard sizes. So even if you want to use like a framer, you could buy a ready-made frame and they could assemble it for you and, do it professionally and all that. So I just like to give people that option versus me I'm not a framer. So, I'd literally be taking it to a framer and then just passing the cost on to that person who could get what they like. So, yeah.
Exactly. That's a nice choice, and it gives them a part of the experience of, owning the art themselves. Very nice. We are loving it. Speaking of flowers.
Yeah, my daylily. This one, I really wanted it to have like a botanical, like I feel like it kind of looks like that older, like old fashioned kind of botanical print. That's kind of what I was going for on that one. And it wasn't quite as much as like the purple of the other one that I did. The yellow was a little easier. But
I
actually like doing the buds on this more, I think, than the flower itself.
Right. It is absolutely beautiful. I agree, guys. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I love yellow. Yellow is one of my favorite colors. This kind of reminds me, they did a series of stamps that were very much kind of like the same kind of thing, where it just showcase these beautiful different varieties of flowers. And when I saw this, I'm like, this would have made the most beautiful stamp. you know. I don't know why I think of that, but it's just a beautiful tile. You know, if you guys ever seen those where they have some art that are actually tiles? But this is so
Oh yeah, yeah.
wonderful.
I know what you mean.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect in all of its, you know. And you said that, you know, it's hard doing the greens, but yet you've captured the buds with this green, but you've added the wonderful complementary colors to it as well. You can see some of these beautiful purples will contrast in that aspect to really make that yellow shine. Man, that's
I
amazing.
actually like the lighting on this, the way the light
Mhm.
was shining on those buds. You know, like there's definitely some like highlights and shadows there. It kind of gave it more of like a three-dimensional quality. I don't really remember where I got the photo for this one, but
Right.
I must have tried to replicate it the way it was taken.
It is fantastic. All right, capital gorgeous. That's right. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you for all
And
these
I love,
wonderful comments that are
right? I
showing up.
mean, the chats are active. All four chat places we are. Thank you guys everywhere, from X to Rumble, Pills, and YouTube. You guys are all awesome everywhere, and thank you so much for your compliments. We are loving that. Keep them up. Keep them up, and welcome if you're new. We'd love to have you. So thank you. I love to have you guys here. Awesome. And I love the choice on this one too, because you could have done like a different color background, you know, or so forth, but that white just kept it so pure looking in my opinion. I think that was a really good choice.
Yeah, I kind of wanted it to just look like a specimen, you know, like just only
Hmm.
focusing on the flower itself and the buds.
Right. I agree. You guys are loving this one. Are we all about ready for spring? I know we're just in the just in
Yeah,
the beginnings of winter, but yeah. This, at least we can, this is what I love
thank
about art so much, because we can go and see a picture or go on a trip somewhere through somebody's painting or drawing, or we can sit there and remember spring's on its way with a beautiful picture, or look at a wonderful animal and get that, oh, look how pretty. I mean, art takes us on journeys. And that's one of the things I love about this world of art.
Good point.
Mm-hmm. You guys are having a great time. Oh, awesome. All right, our next one. Oh, look at this.
Oh, my
Look at this.
bluebirds. This is gray toned paper, so it's similar to the tan, but it's in a gray. And again, like I just didn't do a background. I just used the color of the paper as the background because I just really wanted the birds to pop. And also those branches, like I love doing that like mossy kind of look. But the inspiration behind this, my dad grew up on a farm and he I mean I did as well, but not like it wasn't like a working farm, but you know we lived out in the country and he's just a very like in touch with you know nature and everything, and he always would build bluebird houses and you know try to get the bluebirds to come and whatever. So he's housed many bluebirds over the years and he loves them. So and they're just
Mhm.
beautiful. I mean I they're kind of one of my favorite species, I think, uh, that are in the Northeast. So anyway, that was the inspiration for this. The if anyone's not familiar with them, the male is the one on the bottom. They're a much brighter blue, and the female is more muted on top. But
Right.
and they I think they mate for life
Do they?
in most cases. So they're
I,
sweet.
you know, and I wonder a lot about that with birds, because I know I have a cardinal couple. Same thing. He's so vibrant, and she's more of a sunset orange with some brown
Yeah.
going on. But I'm really surprised at how vibrant she is. But they are always together, and I'm like, they can't be different, you know. Um, but I don't know about birds. Isn't that interesting? Love
Yeah,
that. Can you
cardinals,
talk?
I've read
Go ahead.
cardinals do mate for life as well.
Today?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? So here, you guys, I don't know if you knew that, but isn't that awesome that these animals mate for life? Really cool. I'm loving this. So, you know, as we're all geeking out on these beautiful birds, can you spend a minute to talk about these amazing branches? Oh my gosh, the detail in the branches is phenomenal.
I always do the bird. I'll do the bird first and then I do the branch. But the branch ends up being like, it's a lot of work too, there's a lot, and I
Right.
love all the colors that I got to use on that, you know, those blues and greens, and it's just kind of, it was almost like the pavement under the dog, it's like a really important part of the composition, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of pulls it
Right.
together.
I'm like look at the bark and the moss and the whatever. It's just like so like just really pulls the piece together because you could have done just your basic even texture with a brown, but you chose not to. You chose to add so much beautiful color to this to really make it alive in its own right, and I think that just added to the piece so much. Like, wow, I'm
It's
loving
hard
this,
to
right?
see it in a it's hard to see it in a photo, but that paper has kind of not a texture, but there's like little vein. It's like got a very natural look to it. It almost looks like not homemade paper, but do you know what I mean? It's not like a
Hmm.
bleak uniform color of paper. It's
Right.
pretty. It adds sort of like a nice effect.
Right. I had to go over. That's why I'm leaning forward. I had to go over to my bigger monitor to look what you were, my different tab. And I'm like, oh, I totally see what you're talking about. You guys venture out, choose great paper. First of all, that makes a huge difference, but it doesn't always have to just be white. As we see here, right? If you guys are drawing or, artists of this kind of mediums, that can just make a whole lot of difference.
I've seen
I
really
agree.
interesting drawings on black paper, which I haven't done
Mhm.
anything. I've not recently, but you can make some really cool drawings with a black background.
Yes. Yes. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. I guess I'm an oil girl, but oil pastels on black paper. I love them. I have several hanging on my wall over here too. I'll have to share one in the group sometime, because it is, and it just makes it really, really pop out. But again, you guys, your paper choices, make sure it's really good paper. And I do love to paint or draw on black. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Speaking of cardinals,
Yeah, this was a recent one. In my like informal, like asking people things and stuff on X, people love cardinals. Like, there's like a lot of cardinal lovers out there.
mm-hmm,
And I think because they definitely have a lot of symbolism, I guess and this is across cultures, like it's very well known that they kind of have a spiritual quality. And, you know, I guess it can be like a symbol that a loved one who's passed on is,
right.
trying to contact you or that type of thing. Like it's along the same vein, but different in
Mm-hmm,
different cultures. But
right.
anyway, when I post about cardinals, like I added a little, like, explanation about what their symbolism is. And like so many people are like, oh my gosh, I love cardinals so much. Like it reminds me of my mom. Like she loved cardinals. Like people have such an emotional connection to them. It's really
Yes.
cool. And like when I see them out in nature, they always like just make you feel happy. Like they catch your eye,
Mm-hmm,
especially when it's snowing because that bright red
right.
against the white snow. Oh, somebody just said go Cardinals. And yeah, they're like the state
Right.
bird, multiple states,
Right.
obviously sports teams. They're just like a really cool bird.
But I think, especially around Christmas time, I think because they're always represented around Christmas time because of, they are around and that splash of bright red color against the beautiful white. You think Christmas, um, I just love them. And then, like I said, I have a cardinal couple and then they put their nest in the peach tree. So I get to see their little babies every year. And it's just right. But like you said, there's a symbol of either departed loved ones, spiritual messengers, protection, but come
Mhm.
to you in your time of grief. I mean, there's so many things that they're represented by, but the color gets me. My favorite color is red, hands down. So I'm always, whenever I see them, like, oh, they catch my eye. Same thing like with a hummingbird with a beautiful ruby, and I'm like, wow. But I love it because, something else too is they're a little kind of plumpy. I don't know if you guys have ever really noticed, but cardinals have a little bit of plump to them, and I love that too. And you've captured that in this great piece. Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't know if it I don't know if they fluff out their feathers or if they're
Or
just
how they
like,
do that.
yeah, I don't know. But this piece, I posted it when I finished it, and I sold it within a day. Like,
Oh, I
that's how
don't
much
know.
people love cardinals. So it's crazy.
Amazing, right? Man, absolutely amazing. Uh, just it's the Indiana state bird. I did not know that. Okay, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me.
I think it's
Okay,
the state bird for some other states too. I don't
probably
know, but
right. Just beautiful. You guys are lighting up the chats on this one. Okay, what color of the paper did you use on this cardinal piece? Is the question.
it was white paper,
It
and I
was white.
created that background with, gray pencil and different colors. And the background took me a while on that. I did the background first, and then I did the cardinal, and then I did the two branches in the forefront.
They're loving it. The background. They're noticing the
Thank you.
background on this piece too is just fabulous. I
I
agree.
wanted it to have like that backlit kind of look, like, in the winter when it's kind of that gray sky, but there was sort of that like light breaking through, and it's sort of reflecting on the bird on the right side there.
Man, I can totally see this one selling. Everything about this, from this kind of muted background, which is so beautiful yet peaceful, from this bright, gorgeous, fluffy cardinal that's just with this great expression on their face. And then to the branches again, you're a master at these textured branches. I was like, this whole piece is absolutely phenomenal. And
Thank you. I think my next, I actually want to do.
All of a sudden the chats are like, go ahead.
I want to do a couple, a male and female together. So the next cardinal I do will be two cardinals.
That would be awesome. I was just kind of slightly laughing because over here in Rumble, and now we're getting the state bird. It's state bird for Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio, Virginia, and Wyoming.
Oh, wow. I knew it was a few. That's so cool.
You guys crack me up over there.
Thank you for
okay, they're doing the deep dive. Right? The deep dive on the state bird of the cardinal. That's how loved it is, everyone. Yes, absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. We love this. I can't wait to see your next one. Be great. Oh, this is a newer one of yours too.
Yeah, this one I did fairly recently. Albrecht Dürer is like one of my favorite artists. He's like from the 1500s, but he did a famous piece. It's called Young Hare. It was a very detailed portrait of a hare, and it had a very plain kind of basic background, but that was kind of my inspiration on this one. And I've done a rabbit in the past. It was like a rabbit bursting out of paper, like a hole, like a torn hole in paper. And my parents actually have that hanging on their wall in their home. But I just wanted to do something kind of like, I feel like this has been a really cold, snowy winter for a lot of people. And I love winter in art. I don't love it so much like living in it, but I don't know. I was kind of inspired to do like a winter background on this one. And like the deer, like, I don't know, bunnies just have like that soft, like lovable quality to them, so they're fun to draw. And also a lot of positive symbolism, the good luck. I don't know specifically what they are, but they're a positive type symbolism.
And I agree with you on there's something about when you're doing winter scenes and you've got like the bird or the bunny or whatever, it gives you in this serene scene, because I think something about snow pieces or winter pieces is because that beauty of that perfectly laid snow is just so crisp, so fresh, right?
Exactly.
That we all love it when it first snows, right? We hate it later on, and as soon as it gets mucked up. And I think everyone loves that first snow and everything looks so pure. And so to capture that in a drawing and add some of our wonderful, you know, animal life to it, you also are putting that beautiful purity together. And yes, look at this details on this amazing, beautiful rabbit. Look at that. Look at this fur, guys. Wow. Wow. Isn't this one gone? I believe this one is. I think I thought you posted something about that.
Yeah, this one I sold too.
I thought. You guys, I'm telling you. Follow her for more advice if you want to sell your art, guys, because it's absolutely amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
It's the like wildlife and animals. People just really love it.
Well, it's also the commitment. You know, you're all about selling yourself, showing off your work, you know, engaging, you know, because you could be an artist and just say, hey, everyone, post it out. And okay, maybe a few groups will share my work, right? But you know, for instance, I have my art group, you have yours, right? And I highlight artists every day, and that's fun for me to do, but I'm not your manager, right? If you guys want to sell your work, you need to be out there. And I see that in you. And when I look at your own page, you're all about, you know, the engagement, the talking, you act, you know, share little bits and pieces and might even say something about luck or whatever. Just make them interesting, but you're all about marketing yourself. And that's what I think a really good artist should be doing. So I have nothing but absolute praise for what you're doing on your pathway, my friend.
Thank you. You know, I think I was a little shy about that at first and a little hesitant because you don't want to seem pushy, because that's not me at all. You know, like I want people to buy it because they like it. I want it to be their idea. And, but I do think it's important to share your like successes with people. Like, I think they're happy to see it. And, you know, so I've been trying to do a little bit more of that. Like, you know, I will announce it when I sell something. And I mean, people seem happy to know that, you know.
Right. And you do it in a grateful way. Thank you to the buyer for this piece. I'm most grateful. So you're not doing it like, oh, hey, look at me. You're doing it with an attitude of gratitude. You know, that makes it even better.
And I think when you're creating work, it's different for a commission because, you know, that the person is supplying you with, this is what I want, you know, and you're fulfilling their idea, their whatever, the photo they're giving you. But when you can create something just from within yourself and put it out there and someone loves it as much as you do and wants to own it and pay you for it, like that's an amazing feeling, you know?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think that's absolutely beautiful. You guys, I agree. Wonderful job. Oh, okay. I had to save some food ones for the last because guys, if you didn't think the other ones were absolutely miraculous, look at the realism of this. Oh my gosh, the power of the egg, so important for the diet. Love this. Oh my gosh, I love this.
It's now, like sometimes there's beauty in the like the simplest things sometimes, you know.
But this is so white and there's so much color built into this. But my question is, how hard is it to do like an egg on a white piece of paper, you know, and make it really come to life like this? Because you did a phenomenal job.
It's really, and I kind of did this because it was sort of, I wanted to do the white on white, you know, it's sitting on a white plate. But if you look at it, and I don't know, it's if you can tell on your screen, but there's a lot of color there. It's really not pure white, much of it. I mean, there are a few highlight areas, but you know, there's like shades of light blue and purple and peach and pink. And so I just love that challenge of rendering white and black. Like black's the same way, like on a fur of an animal, you know, you get to add all those cool little colors in there and it just gives it like that sort of substance. And of course, then you know, the pop of color was really fun with the yolk and creating that like shiny looking surface. But a lot of people commented on the pepper. They love the pepper sprinkled on theirs.
I do too. It adds something to it. I think that's really awesome. You're making people hungry. That's the point, guys. But I noticed that too in the plate, and I saw the beautiful color that's kind of going. This even show you that it's sitting in a plate. But a lot of people say sometimes it's hard to do white, because, well, first of all, white reflects so many other colors, so you've got to put that all in there too. And I love that you did the challenge. It's amazing, just amazing. Right? Isn't this photorealistic, guys? I mean, that's what I'm seeing here too, right? That is what's so great about her work, you guys. And there's so many of these pieces. And if JJ was here, I know he's out and about right now this weekend, but I will look for the previous show that she was on. You guys can see some of her other work. You can go to her website, which I've already posted for you guys too. You can go over to X and follow her. We've got the groups you guys can join. But this is absolutely amazing. And I'm glad you guys are really loving this. You can smell the eggs and bacon. Maybe, right? Maybe you would do that next time.
Yeah, I need to draw some bacon to go with it.
Right? People love their bacon. I'll tell you what, it's crazy. Absolutely amazing. Phenomenal work. This one was probably one of the first, I ever saw from you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I loved it. I was like, wow. And that's what kind of caught me. The marble and this one are the things that caught my eye because I didn't know who you were when I first came out on X. I was like, oh my gosh, this just looks like a real sucker or a real marble. And I started realizing, that you are very photorealism when you draw. And I'm like, wow, guys, check this out. If you want to,
it's just that the challenge of just getting that hyper realistic, rendering, like trying to give it that wow factor, I guess. But I think there's kind of like a whimsical quality to, like, immediately I don't think it's a Tootsie Pop, but of course it brings me back to like all the flavors of Tootsie Pops. Like, what's your favorite? Orange, chocolate, cherry, grape,
Right. Exactly. My first thing I was like, I always think how many licks does it take to get to the
yeah, exactly.
right to the center. And we all probably remember those commercials, right, with the owls, but it takes us back to a memory of childhood one way or another. But it's just unbelievable. And that's a good question to ask people when you post this, like what one's your favorite flavor?
Exactly.
That is a really good thing. Wow.
And people love that. Like, they love thinking about, something like nostalgically or from their childhood or whatever.
Right. Happy memories. Again, just so fun. Things like this, wouldn't it be awesome to have this in like, poster size, if you ever did prints, or even a little smaller one, like in a candy store or a goodies shop or something like that. This is what I'm talking about, or, I'm sure there are people out there that want this for, their own personal memories, but I'm just telling you guys that sometimes by knowing your audience, you're like, I could literally go and show this to some kind of restaurant or candy shop or whatever, and they would be really interested in stuff like this. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hyperrealism, isn't it? She does it extremely well. Extremely well. That's a question I have for you. Have you ever struggled with a certain piece or had to like dish a certain piece because you just couldn't quite ever capture that realism that you were going after?
Yeah, I think that happens mostly with portraits, like I'll get through, there'll be a phase, and a lot of artists call this like their ugly phase in a drawing, like where it just, you're like, oh no, something's off, like this is not going to work. And you just have to stick with it, and then like it'll start to come together. And I feel like colored pencil is a lot like that. I don't know. In the early stages, it just doesn't look like much, and then you get the pencil built up and like you get enough detail in there and you kind of cross that threshold. But yeah, I mean, I've obviously had to like start over a few times with things, but I think it's mostly just persevering, and you have to get past that phase where it doesn't look right yet. And there are different tricks you can do. You can turn the paper upside down and look at it from a different perspective. It's very helpful for me to take photos of it or to look at it through my iPhone camera, or to get up and
Mm-hmm.
step back and look at it from farther away. You know, they're just
Right.
different. You have to change your perspective, leave it alone and come back to it, you know, when you're fresh and you can like get started again. I mean, I'm sure all artists go through these things, but it can be a struggle for sure.
Yeah, but each one of those tips are things that I have done or I share out on Tip Tuesday. But I love the one of I'm always like turning my canvas upside down or sideways or whatever to totally get a different perspective. I'm taking pictures. I think we talked about that in the beginning too, and so that you can look and zoom in on certain details and be like, okay, what what am I missing here? Walking away, standing from the back, to see this, but especially turning things upside down because that just immediately changes your brain. So that
Yeah.
you're not sitting there going, okay, it makes you see the shape and the whatever versus I'm trying to accomplish this. It really is a great tip. Great tip. You guys over here singing now. They're singing the lollipop song. You guys are so funny over there. Right? See what this does? But it brings wonderful little memories to each and every one of us. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this work. All right. Landscape fun. Oh, this is so beautiful.
Yeah, this was I don't even remember where I found the photo on this, but again, like I think there's like a certain peacefulness to winter scenes. You know, all
Right?
landscapes are beautiful, like, you know, they're beautiful ones that are in summer or fall or whatever, but there's something about winter, like that feeling of stillness and quiet, you know. I just love doing the reflection in the water on this one. I like the coloring. Just something a
Right?
little different. Again, it's small. It's not a giant landscape. It's 8 by 6 inches, but I put a wide white mat on it, and
I love the coloring on this one as well too. Right? I think it's really peaceful and just beautiful. The reflection is magnificent as well. Great choices on this.
thank
Great
you.
choices. You're welcome. I know if you guys, yep, the reflection. Okay, there we go. I didn't know if you guys were stuck on lollipop still. You guys are too funny over in the chat. Oh, okay. But yes, here we are. Right? The reflection, you can sense the serene. Yep, exactly. Isn't it just this calm, beautiful moment captured in the beautiful winter? You know, I'm with you guys, right? They love the winter scenes. Amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely
this
amazing.
like this winter, I've really been into like winter art. I don't know, maybe
That's
just because it's
funny.
been like more snow than normal, but
I don't know what state you live in, but I've never seen this much snow in all the time I've been here. Right? I'm like, it was just even snowing a few days ago. Again, I'm like, really?
yeah, I mean, I
But
guess like it's been freezing in like Florida and you know
right,
the
right,
South. Yeah.
right. So yeah, if you can't go outside, too much, you might as well paint or draw it, capture that beautiful. But I love, like I said before, it's tarnished, and luckily I live outside of the city and stuff, so it's not so bad here. Um, it can still say beautiful. It just looks like a frozen lake now because of the cold weather. But I do love it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the snow forever, but it brings me this sense of refreshing, bringing me, peace and beauty. And just, there's something, like I said, about snow that just makes everything beautiful, at least for that moment.
Yeah.
And this is really captured wonderfully. Wonderful. Yeah, you got a few. This is your other one.
Yeah, this one, I grew up in upstate New York, and a classmate of mine who I'm still in touch with, she lives way up north in the Adirondacks. And this was a photo she took looking out literally out her back door, back window, or whatever. And she posted it on Facebook, and I said, "Oh, I love that. Can I draw it?" And she said, "Yeah, sure." So I did this little landscape of that, but I ended up donating this to a silent auction in my community. It was for Circle of Care, which is like a cancer
Nice.
charity. So this one was auctioned off for a good cause, but I loved the water. Like I just loved the scene, you know,
Mhm.
and it was kind of special because my friend had taken it herself.
That is special. I love it. And I'm loving that water too. First of all, doing snow is not an easy accomplishment, you know. And I just admire any of you guys out there who are creating snow in any art form, because I know it's not the easiest thing. You got to, make it where, look how fluffy this looks, right? And the individual little areas here too, and adding this different colors, highlights, shadows. It's amazing work. I keep trying to add this here. There you go, Cass. It is beautiful, but the contrast to this wonderful running water, isn't that gorgeous? And look at that reflection, that color that's just coming right there on the very corner on the bottom. Just magnificent.
Yeah, and of course, with colored pencil, the white snow is, you have to leave the paper white, so you have to draw all around it and then just add the highlights on the snow. So it takes some planning, and then on top of that, I would do the trees and all that stuff. So it's not like you can, use white paint or something and cover up, like,
right.
You kind of have to, it's not very forgiving, I guess.
Right. Right. Because look at the pine trees in the back, right? I'm assuming that white on the pine trees are also for the paper. So you have to basically fill in the needles and kind of know where the
I think it's called like negative space. Like you have to draw the dark, the dark areas and leave all the light areas.
Right.
So
kind of a little bit like a watercolor, because in watercolor they don't really make white.
Right.
So you got to use
same idea. Yep.
Right. I agree, guys. I love this one too. That brook is beautiful. Phenomenal. I'm glad you guys are enjoying. Oh, this is our last one, because I had never seen this. So I'm surprised I didn't grab the Elvis one, but no, you sent this one to me and I had never seen this one. I'm like, what the world? I was like, check it out. I know we got some Tiger fans in the chats.
I just finished this one literally like the other day, which is why I sent it to you like at the last minute. But I decided I'm going to do this. There's going to be 4 in a series, and they're all going to be white animals, like wildlife animals. So this was the first in the series, and I wanted it to be something a little different from my normal style. So I picked that really bold yellow background, and it's kind of hard to see in a photo, but there's a lot more purple in the tiger than there would be in real life. Like I really enhanced the shades of purple and blue. So I'm going to try to do these like kind of bolder color, like more, pops of color in the other pieces in the series as well. So the one I'm working on, I was actually working on it today. The second one is an Arctic fox. The other 2 I'm kind of on the fence about, and it has a very bright background on it also.
Does it?
Yeah.
She's not going to release the secrets, guys. You guys have to follow and check it out, right?
I'll be posting it all.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll be posting it, of course.
But I see that. I see the colors of the purples and stuff in here too. And it's complementing these beautiful eyes as well. I mean, it's just kind of drawing, but again, white reflects so much color that we don't even realize. And you've captured that and built this in to the wonderful fur. Wow, it's just gorgeous. I like some white tigers too. They just, there's something, I don't know if a lot of them you might want to call them albino, and I don't think that's the right technical term for it, but it's just amazing. Somebody last night, my guest was showing this rare white moose that, it's just so rare. And just like, man, there's just a majestic quality to it that you're like, wow,
It's true. That's why I wanted to do this. Like, I feel like an animal that's white, it has sort of a special quality or unique, rare quality, and when you see it, you just go, wow,
That's right. A great friend, and she's in the chat here, and one of my mods is for my birthday. When my husband and I were raising our kids, we lived in northern Arizona, had a huge ranch, and we saw this white fluff running across the street, and my husband stopped and picked it up, and we just thought, oh, look, this white puppy kind of thing. We took it home. It was Christmas Eve. We named it Claus after Santa Claus, right? And next thing you know, I'm like, this thing is really starting to look more wolf-like. And found out there was like a reserve, miles and miles away, but this thing was being chased by coyotes. Probably would have been their lunch. We ended up saving him and ended up having this white wolf until he passed. And he was one of the best animals I've ever had in my life, but he just had this
Wow.
gorgeous white fur. And so for my birthday, she painted me that because he's no longer with me. But, again, capturing that because the white fur has so many different reflections and colors. And I do. I mean, it was just, he had a majestic quality to him because he was all white, and it's just amazing how you guys capture these things. And you did it so well with this tiger. Absolutely
Thank
so
you.
well.
The stripes
Man.
and all the, you can see like how the fur separates and goes into different directions. And, that's all pencil
Right.
marks. There's a lot of work involved, but it was a lot of
Gorgeous.
fun.
Right now, are you hoping to sell them as a set when they're all done?
Someone actually asked me
Yeah.
that if I would only sell them
Right.
in a set, and no, I mean, I'll sell them
Okay.
separately, but I think I want
Right.
to make them available or present them all together just because I think they'll
Right.
look cool all together, but yeah, I'll sell them
Yes.
separately. I've never really done
Right.
like
So
a
it's like you guys
series.
might want to. Okay. You guys might want to buy this, but you got to hold off until she's done with her set so they can at least be displayed. No, I mean, reach out, you guys, if you want it, I'm sure. But oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. All of your work tonight has just been fantastic. I am so grateful. I always say that you can come back on a few months later, guys. She's gonna have a whole nother round of sets, and you're welcome here any time. Again, you guys, you can find her on X at Cindy Sinor, but you can also find her on her website, which will tell you what all of her outlets are, where you can buy her artwork, where you can go and follow her on all different social media platforms. But I'm going to leave the last few minutes for you to say anything you'd like to say.
I just obviously really appreciate you having me not only once but twice on your show. I mean, you're so good at promoting artists, and it's such a great opportunity. I'm always trying to encourage the members in I am an artist group to take advantage of your offer because I know
Right.
I think a lot of artists are kind of shy about putting themselves out there, promoting their own work, but I highly encourage everyone to do it. I mean, your work is meant to be seen by other people. Like that's the purpose of art. Don't keep it in a, sketchbook or
Right.
stored away somewhere. So, and I think
Right.
people really enjoy seeing it. I get comments all the time like, oh, I really look forward to your posts. It just makes my day to see your art pop up. And it just feels so great to hear that. But I think they're being sincere about it. I mean, people need beauty in their life. It's a rare
Right.
thing these days sometimes. So I would encourage other artists to do the same thing.
Right. And I love it, because it's kind of like what one of my mods says, it's behind the scenes, it's like behind the music, but it's behind the scenes with the artist. So we get to explore, and I can talk a lot, guys, if you're worried about talking, but we ask you questions like, what inspired you to create this, or certain techniques, and I think a lot of people get a little nervous, but it's so much fun. It's just a conversation here. But the greatest thing about it is I pop up all these amazing compliments, so you get to see actually live, remarks to your art. So how can you go wrong? Right. And I've had several people that are like, I got commissions. People reach out to me after the show. So, and if nothing else, the whole world gets to see who you are. And I love doing this, Cindy, and I love it when the artists come back after a few months or so, and they've got a whole new collection for me to highlight with you guys. It's amazing. And I'm with you. I'm going to continue to promote and highlight this beautiful space in the world because we need more of it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everyone for all the wonderful comments that were popping up on the screen too. So I really appreciate all the support. Yeah. It's awesome.
Well, we sure love you. And I'm so grateful that you are here, and we'll reach out. If you ever do another spaces, please invite me. I'd be more than thrilled to come back on. And hopefully we get a few more artists to come on as well too. But let's just keep doing what we're doing, my friend. And I am really proud to have you in my world and be a part of yours, and come back anytime.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great night and have a good weekend.
You.
All right, guys. Wasn't that so much fun? Oh, my heavens. I am so grateful for you guys and your wonderful comments and compliments. You guys are fantastic. You guys can again go follow her on X. She's part of my group, Artist Corner. I'm a part of hers. You know, this is what we do. We just go and we highlight amazing people. Whoops, that's not the one I wanted to share. If you guys want to know about this group, this is my group, right? It belongs, if you're on True Social, called Artist Corner. It's also a community over there on X called Artist Corner. You guys go and be a part of it, whether you're an artist or not, because a lot of people in my group come because they want to experience what Cindy and I were just talking about, seeing that beauty in the world. You never know if they're going to be a buyer. You never know what, but at least you're showing off your work. You're bringing more beauty to this world. And again, I would love to have you part of these groups, right? It just also is an amazing community, right? There's so many wonderful things going on in the comments too, the feedback even between the artists. It's a really amazing thing to join and be a part of. And I highlight an artist every single day. And then because of your likes, shares, and comments, we're going to do this tonight, because I don't know if anybody really saw this last night, but we are going to do this tonight. Every single day I highlight an artist, and I love it. And then I tally up who wins every single week by how many comments, likes, and shares. So the more they get, that is who we tally as the artist of the week. And this week, surprise, surprise, and I think it's because it was his birthday. But if you guys don't know, I have a Thursday show, and my wonderful nurse of a husband comes on to talk about health and healing. But he says he's not an artist, you guys. This is why I said word workers, you know, crocheters, poets, authors, we love it all. He built this well house. He painted it. He designed it. He even did the stars on this. So huge congratulations to the wonderful Nurse Patrick. You are our artist of the week. But see, those comments all count, everybody. And it's so many happy birthdays in the different comments. I think he got more comments than anything. So yes, I was so happy to announce that our wonderful artist of the week is the wonderful Nurse Patrick. You guys can follow him on Truth at Nurse Patrick. You can follow him on X at PatrickRN6. Give him a huge congratulations, because he is our amazing artist of the week. So much fun to highlight it when your husband's the artist of the week, right? That's pretty cool. But thank you again, everyone, for the wonderful happy birthday wishes to him. And go tell him he's an artist, because he still doesn't believe it. I mean, he makes flag things, he makes cutting boards, he makes all kinds. He helped me make the Christmas gifts for a lot of you artists this year with these amazing coasters. He's the one that cut and sanded all those things for me so I could continue to do the paintings for it. So yeah, that's right. Go Nurse Patrick. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome to sit there and highlight him today. Right there you guys go. Yes. So tomorrow we've got another, it's kind of be like an artist night, because I've been able to make a PDF for it. We're going to be amazing, looking at all these different kind of amazing images. We've got some videos to show you, but our guest is one of our Artist Corner family members. You know, we know her as Hockey Love over here in the chats, but Norma and Mark are going to be my guests tomorrow as we talk about the power of honey. These guys are beekeepers, and how many times have I talked about the amazing world of honey? You guys know I love it. I got half of you now addicted from my Sunday shows using just honey and coffee. So these guys, and even sent me a sample. I cannot wait to get some more, my sweet friend, because it was so good. And they decided to take up on beekeeping. So tomorrow we're going to have this amazing show. And instead of me cooking, we're going to talk about the amazing and the powerfulness of honey, and enjoy and walk through the world of Norma and Mark's amazing beekeeping adventures, right? As they are producing some of the greatest honey. I'm telling you, it is really, really good, guys. I'm so excited to have them on the show tomorrow. If you guys are new to the show, I have shows Thursday through Mondays. We have health and healing on Thursdays. We do arts nights on Fridays and Saturdays. Tomorrow's going to be a little special one, but normally I'm cooking. I do a cooking show on Sundays. And then Worldview, speaking of Worldview this Monday, it's going to be all fun. We're just going to have a walk through the world through amazing fun clips, music, and humanity stories of just what's going on around the world. We just so need it. We so need it, right? So I just want a whole show dedicated to fun. You guys can bring your fun clips and music if you want to as well, and throw them in the chats. But I have saved so many. You guys are going to enjoy this as we just have a fun night. And I mean it, like, you know, dogs talking to people playing instruments and horses coming to stories of rescue, fun music. I mean, it is just going to be a fun time for Worldview this Monday. So you guys want to make sure you come back and join that. But please come back tomorrow at 7 p.m. to see this amazing show. I'm so excited. Everybody say yay. They're like, we can't wait. I can't wait either. I'm so excited to have hockey here. I just love those two. And it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. But you know what is the greatest thing? If you guys want to find out about my shows, this is the best way. If you want to come on my show, this is also the best way to get a hold of me. Is you follow me, reach out to me on my social medias. And this is how we do it. I'm already booking for March, you guys. I book really fast, so let me know. I believe I'm already booked halfway through March, so we're now looking at the end of March. But reach me. You guys can reach me on the two most popular ones are an X at Lady Hamilton AR1 or Truth Social at Lady Hamilton Art. You can also leave a comment over here on the show, and that will get my attention as well too. And I would be more than thrilled to have you guys on the show. Again, whether you're a painter, photographer, poet, filmmaker, author, embroiderer, woodworker, you name it. I mean, we love it all. I mean, so excited for you guys to come on the show, but you guys can give me a follow. I appreciate that too. Again, you can follow me on X at Lady Hamilton AR1. You follow me on Truth, Gabs, and Pilled at Lady Hamilton Art. And you guys over there on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe. You guys can also follow me on YouTube at Lady Hamilton or Lady Hamilton HH, where we stream live on the weekends. Most shows go there, depending, but definitely on the weekends there because we love to promote our artists and Artist Corner family. Right? Yeah, she's all excited. I see her in the chats. Right? She's like, "Yay!" Oh, give me 1 second here. I think that is awesome. We're going to do a little pop out chat here because she's so excited. You guys got to come and give her some love. You guys, you are my wonderful Artist Corner family and new family members and so forth, right? Look at how excited Hockey is. She's all, yay, we got a huge love for this. So come give her some support tomorrow, you guys, at 7 p.m. I appreciate that so much. That means the world to me when you guys come and support each other. I cannot tell you. It's a huge thank you for me. So there you guys go. They'll be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All our shows are. And so before we leave, though, also, let's give some love where love is due. I love it when you guys share out my promos. I always drop them right after every single show or at least the day before the show. So that really helps bring some awareness. Let's tell more people so that we can get some more viewers and more people building our wonderful community here at Headmaster's Homeroom. But I know that this group of people here are absolutely the best. And they also make promos and share out my stuff just because they love me. So let's give them some love back, everyone. They are truly the best team a girl could ever ask for. I love these moderators and they just do all this kind of stuff because they love me back. So let's give them a thank you and a love, starting with JJ. He's out doing community service with his amazing theater program. We love you. We miss you, JJ, but please give him some love and a follow. You can follow him on Truth, X, Gab, Pilled, Getter, and Rumble. Our fantastic Tri-Stater, you guys can follow him on Truth and on X. Our beautiful Nancy, let's give her a follow on Truth and X. Our amazing Frosty Pimp, let's give him some love and a follow on Truth and on X. And Kim, we're going to give her some love on Truth. And thank you guys for doing that for me. I appreciate that so, so much. All right, as we leave in tonight, I just love this song. And I hope that My Troubled Days doesn't mind that I love this song so much. But I love putting you guys in a little happy mood as you're leaving for the night. I thank them for letting us play their music. They're about ready to drop album number 4, and I cannot wait for them to come and debut this on our show. But, you know, we had such a great night tonight, and this song just puts you in that mood and keeps you in that mood. One of my favorite songs. I love all their music, but this one just puts me a smile on my face and that little snap in my fingers, a little pep in my step. And I love it, love it, love it. So thank you so much, My Troubled Days, for letting us play your music. So we're jamming out here tonight with their song, This One's For You. I will see everybody tomorrow as we support our wonderful Artist Corner family member, right? And we're all about the world of the amazing honey. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for all the love and support you gave my wonderful guests. Don't forget to hit that like, follow, and share. And again, thank you to Miss Hockey for the wonderful rant and support with your not your Cash App, your Rumble rant. I appreciate all your donations. That really helps me continue to do these shows. It means the world to me, guys. So thank you so much for all that you do for me. I have the best viewers. Everyone have a great night and be blessed. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Okay, whoops. There we go. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Demanding, always fair, a lending hand, you always grant. I always know who's got my back. This one's for you. A certain smile, well, it reminds, of a distant time, sitting around, laughing with you. I miss you more than I thought I do. This one's for you. This one's for you, and all that you do. When I look, when I look, when I look, I see who you are. I see who you are. I see who you are. I see who you You give and give, oh, never wanting back. My heart, it sings with you, so sing it with me, sing it true.